What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christine and this is Conscious and Cute, where I talk about my life, but mostly my journey to becoming more sustainable. I talk about anything from zero waste to veganism to minimalism, kind of all of the different things that you can do to be more sustainable. But today I'm talking about something different because I want to talk to you about fast fashion. Or rather being anti-fast fashion. Now I'm going to split this video up into a few parts, the first part being what is fast fashion. So if you already know what fast fashion is, you can skip ahead, but for those that don't know, I will talk about that first. I will also talk about why fast fashion is bad, what my journey with it has been, and at the end I have a challenge for you in collaboration with another awesome blogger, so keep watching. So if you don't know what fast fashion is, let me give you a quick explanation. The thing is, I'm not really going to be able to go really deep into this topic in this video, so I will leave some great resources for you in the description. But really quickly, fast fashion is basically the way we as consumers are buying more clothes, better clothes, and at a rate that our planet really can't sustain any longer, so we're buying more and more and more. The thing with fast fashion is it's not really an issue we as consumers are only creating. It's also something that the big corporations are creating. Big companies want more and more profit, so that way they're gonna market to us more and more, which is in the end is gonna make us want more clothes. Now, if you want a video about the marketing in the fast fashion industry or in any industry really, I would love to do that because obviously I love sustainability, but I am also a marketing student. And some people might say those two don't really go along, but I truly think there is a more ethical way to do marketing that doesn't make us over consumers, and I really want to get into that in a video, but that video on its own could be like an hour long. But yeah, it's not only a consumer issue, it's also a corporation issue, and the planet can't take it any longer. Now, why is it a problem for our planet? Well, I'm going to talk about three big reasons. So the first reason I want to talk about is actually the strain on this planet when you're talking about resources. For example, cotton is a often used fabric. It takes so much water to create. It could also be fossil fuels needed to power any tools that are working the earth. It could be fossil fuels for transportation. We could be talking about CO2 emissions. We could be talking about the chemicals polluting the water supplies, polluting the earth. There are so many ways that creating clothes is a strain on the planet. And when you think about how many clothes are being made every day, that's just a strain the planet can't take anymore. And that's just the resources it takes to make these clothes. When you look at the second reason why fast fashion is bad, it's actually the waste it's producing. Because be honest, how many clothes have you thrown away or donated and they end up being thrown away anyway? Because honestly, who wants all of those old clothes? They're being sold in secondhand stores maybe, but not everyone is going to buy those old things. They're maybe being sent to third world countries who don't even want these clothes. They're ending up in landfill, they're ending up in the oceans, they're being burned. They're ending up in old warehouses, taking up space. But the truth is, a lot of these clothes are just ending up on landfill, and that's really not that good for the planet. Like, landfill is polluting the earth. If you think about all of the synthetic clothes like polyester, that's a plastic. So if that ends up in landfill or it ends up in our oceans, it's putting plastic back into the planet, and we all know how bad microplastics are. So that's another way that fast fashion is really not that good for our planet. And then the third reason is more of an ethical reason rather than a sustainable reason, but I do believe those two go hand in hand. Because the fast fashion industry really relies on the workers that don't even get minimum wage. Those are basically all sweatshops. And you know, I personally feel that in a perfect sustainable world, everyone should have a job that they enjoy, where they are safe, where they don't have to handle awful chemicals or work in factories that could collapse at any minute. And they should definitely not be working for clothes that we buy for only 2 or 3 euros. Like, why is it so cheap? It shouldn't be that cheap. When you buy a pair of jeans that costs 4 euro or $4, you know you're making someone work for that for not even minimum wage in super bad conditions. So that's basically one of the main reasons why you should care about this. Even if you don't believe in the pollution, you can see these bad workers. You can look it up. Even if companies tell you they're not using sweatshops, you can be sure that they probably are, because the bar for ethical business management is really low, sadly. Even after all of those factories collapsing and then all of them writing in a charter that they're gonna not do that anymore, they're still doing it. And maybe in like a little less of a bad environment, but it's still awful and you wouldn't want to work there. So why would you support clothes that are made in such an environment? I know that seems like a big rant, but it's something I'm very passionate about and I could talk for hours about. And to be honest, I have bought clothes that were made in sweatshops. I might have still bought something that was made in a sweatshop. You can't know, but you can make a difference by supporting brands that really are transparent about what they do and don't make their clothes in sweatshops. Or you could just buy less, and by decreasing the demand from consumers, they're gonna have to raise the prices. They're gonna have to stop producing so many clothes. And I know you might think, well, I don't buy that many clothes, but to be honest, if you really look at your life, you're probably buying too many clothes. If you're buying like 5 new bikinis or bathing suits every year, you're probably buying too many clothes. If you're looking at online stores nearly every week and buying something here and there, if you truly look at how much you're buying, it's probably adding up a lot. Now, coming from me, trust me, I used to be an overconsumer. I used to be a shopaholic. I thought retail therapy was a real thing. And sadly, I ended up with so many clothes I didn't even want, and I felt really bad about it. I started watching documentaries like about 5 years ago when the news about the factories collapsing was really on a high point, and I started researching more and more and more into fair fashion, and it really clicked in my mind, like why is it like this? Why are we not demanding a difference? Because really we shouldn't stand for this. We really shouldn't let this happen. So I started watching more documentaries about sustainability in the fashion industry, about ethics in the fashion industry, about all of the different aspects. And it's such a big picture that you really need to keep in your mind. It's really complicated. It's not just one thing with one solution. It really demands all of us to come together and make little changes in our life. We don't all need to go on a fashion strike for 10 years, or we don't all need to go and buy the most expensive ethical made clothes. We just need to make little tweaks, and those little tweaks will add up into a snowball effect, and that will really make a difference. So that's why I'm joining into the challenge that some of my friends created. They're called Heartfully Conscious, and they have a blog. I believe it's in Dutch, but it's a blog about sustainability. And they started a challenge to not buy anything new, and in this case clothes, for 3 months starting May. So we've been into this challenge for about 2 weeks now. I have to say it was really easy up to now because we're in lockdown and the stores were closed and I'm not really buying anything online much. So these past 2 weeks were really easy. But now that the stores are opening back up, I'm kind of wanting to go vintage shopping and look for some vintage secondhand clothes for the summer. But I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to buy any clothes until, wait, what is it? May, June, July, until July or after July, and maybe even longer, because I really want to challenge myself to consume less because, yeah, I'm mostly buying secondhand. I'm basically only buying secondhand, and every once in a while I'm buying something new. But I'm still buying stuff. I'm still buying a lot of clothes actually secondhand, and I can really turn that down because honestly I don't really need anything. I have so many clothes, I shouldn't be shopping. So that's why I'm excited to join this challenge. I think it's really cool that they're starting something like this because even on a small scale it could really make an impact. People might be asking like, why are you not shopping? And then you can explain like, oh, It's because I really want to try and fight against the fast fashion industry. And that way you can start a conversation with someone and maybe learn them something new about fast fashion and why it's bad. And that's really what I'm trying to do here today. I'm not trying to convince you to like change your entire life. I'm not trying to convince you to make ginormous changes. I'm just trying to convince you to do this one little thing with me. Give it a shot. If you fail, that's fine. You're probably gonna have bought less anyway, and that's great. And maybe after that you'll be like, huh, I don't really need any new clothes. So yeah, let's give it a shot. They're called Heartfully Conscious. I will link their blog and their Instagram in the description. Go follow them if you enjoy their content. Highly recommend them. And yeah, even if you don't speak Dutch, join the challenge. Just don't go shopping for 3 months. It's that easy. You really don't need anything but yourself. I quickly want to touch on kind of how my own journey went, because I said I started like about 5 years ago, and I didn't just flip that switch. I was a shopaholic. I was shopping online all the time, and I basically just said to myself, well, maybe just stop shopping online that much. So I stopped that, and then when I wanted something, I went shopping, which takes a lot more effort, and you don't do that as often. And then I made it a point for myself to try on everything that I wanted to buy. And when you're in that fitting room trying things on, you usually end up with only a few items that you like. So that was one way. And then after that, I just picked a few stores that I found to be the worst, and I just said I'm not going to shop at those anymore. Until this day, I think I only bought 1 pair of shorts of those stores I listed, and I'm adding stores to that list as we go. Now, I also love secondhand shopping, and I really got into that more. I shop at thrift stores, I borrow clothes from friends, or they give me hand-me-downs. I get hand-me-downs from family members, and it kind of started snowballing like that. I also shop online on secondhand stores like Vinted. And then I tried some ethical brands, but those can be quite expensive, so I don't do that often. And then, yeah, if I really need something and I can't find it secondhand or ethical, I will go to a store like maybe H&M. But then you can also look at their conscious collections, or I know there are some brands that have collections made from old ocean plastic. And yeah, a lot of people call this greenwashing. And honestly, it probably is. Like, I want to go dive deep into the subject some more. But for those brands, it's a little step in the right direction. And if we as a consumer shop at H&M, for example, but we don't shop from their conscious collection, they're gonna see that like people don't really care about conscious then. They don't really care if it's ethically made or not. So I would say if you're planning to buy something from a brand like that, maybe looking to see if they have a collection like that. And if you weren't planning to do that, then just don't go shopping there. But yeah, it's all about those little changes you make, and that's something that I really wanted to tell you as well. So yeah. If you enjoyed this video, tell me by clicking the like button and the subscribe button, and posting a comment down below to tell me if you want to join the challenge, if you maybe are already doing the challenge. Yeah, just tell me anything you want to tell me about fast fashion, and we'll get the discussion going in the comments. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!